Hi, how you doing? It's Kerry. Today's topic, February 6th, I'd like to get back to the tariff issue between Canada and the US. I'd like to redress this because a lot of people jumped to the conclusion, and I think it's the wrong one because they really never thought about it. Okay, if you go back a few days, Canada got a reprieve like Mexico for 30 days on a 25% tariff increase. Now, I'm no genius to work into all this stuff. I'm just a gas bag on YouTube and socials. And the tariffs are, that's that's a common thing that countries hit each other with over issues. You tariff somebody, you increase the tariffs, so they increase back to say we're not happy with that. And you negotiate. Okay, now Donald Trump has a different style of negotiating than others. He wants to hit you over the head with a sledgehammer. And maybe to see what you're going to do, I don't know. But that seems to be his thing, is to go crazy first with some incredible amount of some sort or some big dream. And then he backtracks. It happens on many occasions. And I think this is what people are missing here. And what Canada should have done, and did, I'm not somebody that's going to sit there and say blackface is a good prime minister at all. He's been a total disaster since 2015. I knew it before that. When he even ran, it was going to be a disaster if he won. And I was unfortunately not disappointed. And you have to fight back. Everybody said when Trump laid down, you got to protect the border or you get a 25% tariff. You had to look at that and say the border's 5,000 miles long. I got another video on that. How do you control a 5,000 mile border? It's all kinds of weather, very cold for 6 months of the time, throughout most of it. And we don't have the personnel, we don't have the drones, aircraft, etc. The other side of it is the tariffs, which I want to talk about. Everybody thought, we should go in and satisfy Trump's desire and secure the border. Like that would work. You had no choice. You had no guarantee that would work. Nothing said that would be it. And usually in negotiations like this, if you would have complied right off the bat like that, he'd have just upped the ante and wanted more. Because he just got it. You gave it to him so fast, he just got it. But what you had to look at is the reality of it, okay? You got oil. Oil comes from Alberta. It goes through the United States, into Canada, to Montreal, to be refined. And it goes back. And you have oil that crosses the border into the United States and trains and everything that are coming north-south all the time, every day. How do you tariff all those goods? They're going back and forth. Food is in there. Everything is in there. They say auto parts, or a car, goes back and forth across the border 9 times or something like that before it's a finished product. Well, how do you do that? How do you sort the tariffs out on all that? Quebec gives, I'm quite certain Quebec furnishes most of the Northeast with very cheap electricity. I know Ontario sends electricity to New York State too. We probably do to Michigan. These countries you're going to hit with tariffs, you're going to respond back with tariffs, they're going to complain to the government, to the federal government, saying we can't have this. Now, let me give you a little backstory. A few years ago, the Freedom Convoy, people always remember this, the Windsor border, Windsor and Detroit, they shut down the Ambassador Bridge. And it was peaceful, no big problem. I know some people who took videos that live in Windsor, family members took videos and everything in there. And eventually, and it wasn't very long, it was maybe a few days, with no trucks coming across, that there was a phone call. The word has it, there was a phone call from the many automakers to the U.S. government, the highest level, the president, maybe he was coherent enough to understand it, I don't know, or the others, basically saying this is not tolerable. Because if we run out of parts, we shut down manufacturing. When we shut down manufacturing in the U.S., it takes us weeks to get it back going. You cannot allow this to keep happening. Within 24 hours, a phone call was made, and the border issue at Windsor was cleared up, the Windsor-Detroit, and the trucks are back going. Big business can't handle this. They cannot stop. They cannot have a disruption of sorts. So if you're going to go with tariffs, tit for tat, with the U.S., you get big business that's going to be saying, no, what the hell is going on here? We can't have this. We're not prepared for this. It's not our business model. Our business model has been decades doing it this way. We cannot shift immediately to do something else. That will take many years, losses, job losses on either side. It doesn't really matter because the companies are losing the money and they don't like that. And they're very, as in the Detroit-Windsor thing, when the bridge was closed, they were both very low vocal, not in the papers, but to the politicians. And they got their way. So you could easily play that out against the U.S. government. And there's other industries I'm not even familiar with. You got Amazon industries where I'm sure packages flow all the time back and forth all over the border. There's so many Amazon outlets, massive Amazon outlets. Again, a company like that can't have increased costs. They can't do anything like that. It's got to be smooth, seamless. And probably with Mexico the same, I'm not sure. And that's just in small area of Canada, the central part of Canada. Probably out west it's the same. And so I think that's how you do it. You have a trade war, if you will, but it's a negotiation. You're going back and forth. You're not doing anything as a mean, dirty SOB. This is what you do. You got to stand up for yourself. Now, if you're in big union negotiations with a big company, this is what you do. You have to, at the last minute, if there's all else fails, you withdraw labor and you go on strike. In the meantime, you talk. And in some cases, you talk, like, even after you sign an agreement, you start talking for the next conversation, for the next agreement. You know, this is what happens. You talk, this is how you make a deal. It's called making a deal. So, you know, the Canadian Prime Minister was sorting out various tariffs that he could reapply to the U.S. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, you roll over. And if you roll over to the big dog, then you're never going to get any respect. Look at China. They wanted to put 10% on China, only 10. China responded with tariffs against them, the United States, because they're not going to sit there and listen to this. They cannot and will not accept losing face like that. They withstood all of the tariffs that Trump put on there last time, and they still came through, and they're going to come through again because they're going to do it. That's their way. I mean, that's how you do it with these people. Did Russia back down when the U.S. and everybody cut off all those and imposed that 20,000 sanctions on Russia? No. They did not back down. You don't back down. Otherwise, you look like a fool. And if you look like a fool, you can look like a fool forever, not just once. And so I'm not one to give the Prime Minister and his team anything because I don't think they're very good or competent. I think they're idiots and have ruined this country forever. But they did what they had to do. Go with the tariffs. Thought about it, and they got this 30-day reprieve. Who knows what's going to happen in 30 days? But you have to prepare your tariffs, to counter tariffs, because that's how you play this game. You cannot, if you roll over, you're going to look like a fool, and you're never going to get that back, that respect back, ever. Anyways, that's my February 6th commentary. If you got anything to say, let me know. Like and subscribe. Pass it around to everybody you know. Just getting this channel going and appreciate it. And till next time, out.